Hey everyone, Matt here and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim Rerun. In the last couple episodes, we completed Volume 1, 2, and 3. And in today's video, we are completing Volume 4. If you are wondering why I'm doing a rerun of Hiveswap Friendsim, make sure to check out the previous videos to understand why. Now let's get started. Volume 4 of Right and Wronged. Fresh from your most recent bout of gratuitous bodily injury and touching scenes of camaraderie, you soldier on. You've had a few setbacks, made a couple silly choices. Boy, do things just keep happening. But let nobody say that you, the main character, are incapable of growth and change. You have made sure not to be caught in the wilderness near dawn again. You have made your way back to civilization. You can't wait to discover what new adventures await you. Adventures like friendship. Tagora, Gorjak, and Vikare Ratite. Let's go with Tagora. You wander down a street in a not too demolished looking part of town, but you don't really take much of it in. You're not looking where you're going. This is an elementary mistake, especially on a planet where everything that exists seems to be on a spectrum of engineered specifically for murder to could be a weapon in a pinch, but you've got a lot on your mind. And now, as the car, these guys probably have some ridiculous word for it, but you haven't learned it, you hadn't noticed, slams into you, saying you flipping head over feet. You add a few new concerns to your list, your bones and organs. The sound of the driver yelling, "Watch where you're going, lump squirt chugger," fades as they drive away, and you assess your situation. You stretch each limb in turn, which, you've got to say, doesn't feel great. You've landed in a bush which is covered in sharp spines. Your arms and legs all still work, though, and when you do an experimental cough, no blood comes out. Pretty lucky, you think. You may have refined what luck means by this point in your journey, but you'll take what you can get. You don't figure that luck will extend to the driver turning around to help you out of this bush. Your gazes meeting and sparking an immediate and intense connection that leads to a beautiful lifelong friendship. But you let yourself hope. After a few minutes of struggle, the answer to your camaraderie daydreams comes into focus above you. The figure outlined by the spiny leaves of your plant prison and the glow of the moons. The troll you see isn't the driver of the car, but you don't care. Your heart is beating wildly with your continued lucky streak. Hello, you seem to have fallen victim to collide and scamper with that skull buggy back there. Plus 50 introductory fee. Have you contacted your personal legislator? If not, I'd like to offer my services. Listen, my name is Tagora Gorjek, but please, call me Gorgor. I'm here for you, for a nominal fee, of course. He pulls out a business card from his sleek teal vest and offers it to you with a precise flick of the wrist. His claw beds are perfect. You try again to sit it up, buoyed by this offer for assistance. He's some type of doctor, maybe? Or lawyer? It doesn't matter, really, because he said he was here for you. Those words go right ahead and burn themselves onto the softest chamber of your heart. You start telling him your plight thus far, reaching up through the brambles toward this beacon of hope. This guy seems trustworthy, and that's not just your lack of option stalking, you swear. As you shift, the moonlight shines on you. He steps back briefly, dropping the card. The one eye that's not covered by a swoop of product-infused hair opens wide. He recovers, smoothing his hand down his chest and straightening up, clearing his throat as you continue to explain. You're... what? Oh yes, an alien. I knew that. I've done work with aliens before, so your situation shouldn't be an issue at all. Plus 200 alien legislation stipend. Everyone deserves an equal opportunity to be represented by me. In fact, we may be able to use this in our favor for a larger cash settlement. It all depends on our angle. Here, try moving your truck column. You aren't sure why this is necessary, but you wiggle your torso, hoping that's right. You've never wanted anything more in your meager existence than to follow this specific directive perfectly. No, not that. You add a little hip jiggle. Not so much that he might think it's a come on, but enough to say, hey, I'm friendly, I know what the fuck I'm doing. No, you're the thing that holds up your think pan. Work with me. Plus 60. Confusion emollient. You continue what you hope is a part of troll friendship ritual, shimmying various parts of your anatomy deeper into the bush until you get to your neck, and you clasp his hands together. There we go. That one hurt, didn't it? Definitely a case of column snap, which can get us a decently hefty restitution. Your neck feels fine, or it doesn't hurt any more than the rest of you, but you give him what you hope is a convincingly painful nod of agreement. Of course, you will need to front the initial legislation costs. We may also have to injure you further to ensure our case is convincing, but you've got to break a few cluck beast embryos to make a grublet, as you well know. Plus 500 initial costs. Yes, I think we may make a mutually beneficial team if you're willing to do what it takes to bring about the justice you deserve. So what do you say? How would you like to help me help you? He's talking really fast, and you're not sure exactly what to think about your lack of funds or the idea of breaking any more bones, but that smile is sharp and shiny and pointing right at you. You want more of it. Ask him if he does pro bono work. Nah, tell him about the heaps of money you definitely have. You mentioned how incredibly loaded you are, and how core to your sense of values it is to pay well for good work. That's what we call good business. Now, get up out of that prickle frond and let's get you presentable. He watches you flail a few times before he sighs, unbuttons his sleeves, and rolls them up to his elbows. Each fold is crisp and even. It takes a while, but you are good at being patient. There's a 12% cost increase for instances of manual labor. It'll all be explained in your bill. Manual labor hike. It's itemized. I'm sure an alien of means such as yourself will be able to handle it. You take his hand and he pulls you up and out of the bush. It's kind of a rough job. He's not as strong as he looks, you guess. He glares at you like he is daring you to say shit about it, and you are a quick learner. He cuts you off mid-thank you. My office isn't far from here. We can go there to get things started. And by things, I absolutely mean get you clean and sign a lot of vaguely worded yet stringently binding documents. It walks with a purpose. You shake off the floor stuck in your various body parts and do your best to catch up. From the outside, his office basically just seems like his hive. You've learned a thing or two during the shitstorm of a cultural exchange, though. You gotta play it cool when a potential friend invites you home. You never know what cages or monsters or methods of evisceration they might have laying around, and you want to prepare a nice chilled look on your face for whatever carnage you're about to be confronted by. It doesn't work. Your face falls to bewildered hell when you walk inside, because it's all chrome and glass and broad. White walls in there. Broad white walls in there. It's like he bought the fanciest looking crate and barrel display room he could find, down to the last useless minimalist accessory, and then never sat down in it. His Lucis, a ferret, is chilling on an enormous silver thing that's halfway between a throne and a play tower. Everything is clean and bright and at perfect right angles, and you don't see any weapons anywhere. It's fucking creepy. You ask him if he just moved in, because polite conversation seems like maybe the best thing you can do. In the absence of something specific to focus your fear on, you're just sort of a little afraid of everything. You're not paying me to learn my life story, unless you'd like to. In that case, no. I'd lived here most of my life. I'll go ahead and add that to your bill. Life story installment. You stare at one of the chairs. Should you sit in it? By all means, do not make yourself at home. Head straight to my absolution trap while I prepare our contract. You really want to connect with this guy, and you like how you just vibed there, where you were thinking about seeing your bedraggled ass in his fancy chair, and he could totally tell you were thinking it. But you don't want to be friends badly enough to walk straight into something that has the word trap right there in its name without at least pondering it for a second. You become savvier during all this. No entrapment, please. You tell him you would rather stay away from any and all traps if that's alright. You mention that you think that's the better move for both of you. Something tells you that this guy wants to know what's in it for him. Probably all the times he said explicitly that. You do have that vibe going, after all. He taps a claw on his chin and looks you up and down. He takes his time. You try not to blush, no matter how exacting his gaze is. You present a solid case. Your whole look is more than a bit repellent, but it may make the pitiable lost alien angle more emotionally effective if you still look like you just got ran over. Frown. It takes you a second to realize he didn't just say his physical emotive response instead of doing it with his face. He's giving you a direction. You stick your lower lip out and try to look as pathetic as possible. Yes, this is really working for me. It's awful. Completely repugnant. Repugnancy payment? Your general's squalor should function as a simple manipulation tactic, no matter which direction I decide to spin it. The praise makes it hard to keep frowning, but you do your best to keep it up. You even hunch over a bit and shamble a few meager steps toward them. Great. Yes. That's enough. No need to come closer. Seriously, you smell terrible. Okay then, we'll skip the hygiene and get straight to the best part. Bureaucracy. Stay right there and don't get any of your crusty alien orifices near my decor. I'll go print out our contract and we move on. Reimbursement for ink. Re-inkbursement. You present your statue while he types things, then prints the typed things, then staples the printed things. His ferret Lucis stares at you with beady interest. You stare back, completely motionless. You wonder how often Gorgor is friends over. He prints the packet over to you and hands you a pen. Read this, or don't. Sign it either way. It's a standard legislator agreement, tweaked a bit to accommodate your particular situation. You agree to submit your testimony to be judged and will accept whatever subjugulation you receive. You recognize that any potential winnings are to be remitted to me for processing through a local amount before your portion can be dispensed to you. In the event of your calling, I will act as executioner of your accounts. Blah blah, same old business. I'm sure it's the same where you're from. There are stars at each place you are to initial. Shrunken text expense. That sure was a lot of stuff that you just got told really fast. You were trying to listen, really, but he winked at you early on in his monologue, and it was really shocking because you couldn't stop thinking about it if you could incorporate a wink into a secret handshake, maybe. Anyway, regular legal jargon, yeah. Just like all the times you click to say you read the terms and conditions on any old harmless social media app. That stuff never ends up being relevant. You show off your exquisitely polished John Hancock as many times as it takes. Excellent, excellent. Everything's in order then. Are you ready to head out? Oh, like, now? Now? You're not ready. Do you look roughed up enough? Will your bones need to go through any more ordeals? What's a subjugulator? Does Tagora? No sweep like the one you're fucking in, as they say. Pardon the language. It's an idiom. Minus 50 swear jar. It means it's time to fucking go. Let's watch the fucking language. You follow him out as apprehensively as you followed him in. As you retrace your path you took not too long ago, it occurs to you to wonder where this glorious feat of justice is going to take place, and, like, if anyone is going to subpoena the asshole that hit you. Is that even a thing here? You skip up to match Tagora's pace and ask. There's no real need for you to worry about that. It's for me to deal with. I saw the perpetrator, of course. If it seems prudent to pin the crime on them when the time comes, I will have more than enough credible evidence to condemn them. Their blood gas should be sufficient, but if it seems worth it to call in their dented skull buggy, I can certainly do that as well. A bonus for potential frame job. Of course, that's not the only way we can spin this. It may not be necessary to involve them at all. Don't bother worrying about that either. You definitely still worry about that, but you nod and keep walking like you're not bothered. You want to match his level of easy confidence. It's almost comforting to be around it, now that you've spent some time with him. It's simple. You're still basking in the ease of being told what to do, when the whole vibe flips over on its ass so fast you feel it like ice down your back. You look at Tagora first. He stopped walking. His posture somehow gets straighter. Even his cute little ponytail thing looks more alert. He's staring at the approach of another troll, a blue guy. You know that means high blood, but not much else about what that entails, aside from what you're picking up from the full hair-on-end cat reaction from old Gorgor next to you. Pleasant evening, sir? His voice gets somehow sweeter and more professional at the same time. You recognize what he's feeling because you felt it in yourself the whole time you've been on this godforsaken planet. A deep, all-consuming thirst for approval. He's gunning hard for business boy friendship. The high blood, however, is not. At first you think he might be chill, because his smile gets huge, and hell if you don't love getting smiled upon. You start to introduce yourself until Tagora shoots you a be cool look. It's then that you learn that this guy's smile is not the nice kind. What's this, he asks. Gorgor picked up a little friend? It's not. We have a working relationship. You try not to let his dismissal of your friendship sting. You're not there yet. It's okay. You want to be helpful, so you put on your best injured face and start hobbling in a circle, twisting your neck at the most grotesque angle you can manage without actually hurting yourself. You groan pitifully about all your bones. Oh, right, your booming drone pursuing business. This, client you have here looks extra shitty. Good luck getting anything good for whatever this mutant is that you scrapped up from the crystal crate. If you take a moment to consider the potential The blue guy rolls his eyes and keeps walking, elbowing his way right between the two of you on his way past, like you're nothing. Tagora freezes. His eyes stay fixed ahead of him, where the blue guy was just standing. It's like he hasn't processed the movement yet, even though he just got knocked a few steps in his wake. He starts shaking. Yikes, that was, intense. You want to say something reassuring to Tagora, but he has kind of ascended into another plane of existence. Maybe a nice reassuring pat on the shoulder will help diffuse the mood? You put your hand in the mere vicinity of his body and he twirls to face you, eyes narrowed and breathing heavy. You snatch your hand back fast. Mistake! You. Do you have any idea how rare that networking opportunity was? Do you realize what you... No, of course you don't. Damages for slide down antisocial ladder. You don't know anything. Oh, it's increasing now instead by 10. You're just a weird little hornless thing who doesn't even know how to cross the fucking street. Return of swear jar. He starts laughing all high-pitched and weird. Up until now, he seems so slick, so unflappable. That Gorgor is hard to reconcile with the one pacing back and forth, hollering and grabbing at his face. He's pretty goddamn flapped. Oh boy, you really screwed up, huh? Maybe your busted neck routine was not convincing enough. Or too convincing? Either way, you figure now might be the time to bow out before the scene really blows. You tell him so. Your neck is fine. Look, you headbang a little bit to prove it. No, a deal is a deal is a deal. He breathes in slowly through his nose. Alright, Gorgor, remember your mantra. He closes his eyes. After an awkward minute of watching him whisper something unintelligible to himself, he opens them and immediately starts up that bonkers pace again, so you skedaddle to catch up. He keeps talking, though by now he is just talking to himself, with you as an eavesdropping barnacle with really slow legs. Little maniacal giggles bubble out but in between his sentences. We're heading toward justice, alright? Keep walking. We're seeing this through. I've got a bottom line to uphold. Okay, not bad. Maybe things are still cool between you. Maybe this lawyer-client relationship still has a chance to blossom into something more. You venture a friendly type topic and ask him about his mantra. He stops walking and looks at you like you shat on his grave. You don't just ask someone what their mantra is. Mantra requested forfeiture. Maybe not so cool. He shivers, spooked, and turns on a stanky stare from you to the path you're on. After a moment, he smooths back all the hairs he shook out of place during his freakout, pivots, and turns down a side street. Anyway, as I was about to say, there are many ways to fulfill the terms of our contract. I was hoping this would lead to a more stimulating evening. I was prepared to get into it with you, for you. But it's become clear that this partnership is no longer worth the work. Especially now that I will have to consider the significant career setback I just experienced at your feckless hand. So instead of wasting any more my time or yours, let's take a shortcut to the same end result, sparing us both the agony and enduring a long court battle in the proximity of one another. Here's your verdict. You're guilty. Guilty verdict. Immersement. Guilty? Wait, wasn't it supposed to be on the other guy's trial? You look around, panic rising in your chest. Oh, don't tell me. You don't know how the legal system works either. Unsurprising and uninteresting. Oh, this is bad. You've been so caught up in watching him talk that you didn't notice him guiding you straight to the shittier part of town. You know, the part that's all half-demolished hives and creepy noises of drones flying everywhere. Drones like the one that turns to notice you when Tagora whistles, snaps his fingers, and points right at your head. Hey, big guy. Over here. My extremely malformed and unviable troll. Just the way you like it. You shouldn't feel surprised at this betrayal, maybe, but you do. For a second, anyway. Then you focus on yelling and scanning for possible debris to hide under. Tagora starts backing away as the drone gets closer. There's a sewer the next street over. You probably won't make it. But if you do, check your pocket. Dues specified for bad end. Game over. Well, time to not lose. Take a goddamn bath. You are more than a little concerned about the trap part of the instructions you just received, but hey, at least the trap you know about is better than the one you don't. Or better than one you don't. And with everything else you can see so freaky pristine, he has to be hiding some evil somewhere. You wonder if it's a dungeon. A dungeon could be cool. The ferret bounds down off its pedestal and jerks its head for you to follow it. You do, because it seems like a regular thing to do, and Tagora is busy on his computer. It leads you to a bathroom, which is just about as fancy and clean as everything else you've seen. The Lucis chitters at you for a second, squirms its big new body around, and leaves, shutting the door behind it. You wait a second until it's properly gone before you test the handle. It's unlocked. Huh. You wonder what the point or, motive might be for leading you to this room until you turn and see yourself in the mirror. That is some haggard-looking stuff right there. So, fair. You're flying by the seat of your pants, but you guess maybe you're supposed to take a bath? If not, and he gets pissed and unleashes the ferret on you, at least you'll meet your maker nice and clean. You'll expect some indiscernible goo or blood or something to come out of the faucet in the weird lumpy tub, but thankfully it's just water. Once you're in, you take a look at the truly inordinate amount of bath products you have at your fingertips. There are 3 shelves of little bottles and soaps and unidentifiable lathersome accessories by the tub alone. There's even more by the mirror. The labels are all gibberish, of course, but you sniff a few until you find something flowery and go to town. You take more time than you should in there, but you haven't experienced a moment of luxurious solitude in a bit. Full-time friendship searching can be difficult work. It's good to recharge. Once you're freshly scrubbed and dried, you slather yourself head to toe with some lotion you find in an iridescent vial. He hopes he won't mind you using it. He wants you to be presentable, and this stuff is sparkly. You're starting to feel rejuvenated as hell, ready to knock this friendship stuff right out of the park. You leave your dirty, torn-up clothes on the floor, wrap yourself in one of the many satin bathrobes folded on a shelf, and head back out to find Tagora. He's standing in his foyer, waiting with the contract he tied up for you. When he sees you, his eyebrows tick up. I see you went with the Rainbow Drinker Serum, full body application. Bold choice. I mean, it's an incredibly rare and expensive product, and I do expect to be remunerated. But I won't lie, it works. Crush fresh handmade troll cosmetics. Yeah, sure, that stuff. You don't know what to let on that you don't know what it is. You don't want to let on that you don't know what it is, since he seems impressed. Instead, you give his ego a little stroke, and tell him you hadn't seen such a sumptuous array of self-care accoutrements in so long that you couldn't help yourself. Not everyone takes skincare as seriously as they should. I assume you were taking forever in there because you'd gotten lost, or didn't know how to use the absolution trap. I hadn't considered the possibility that you were just doing your regimen. Noted. Minus 500. Rebate for impeccable skincare. You hold your arms out to admire the well-hydrated sheen you have going on. This time, you're not really even bullshitting. It just does actually look pretty good. Tagora seems like he's struggling. He keeps opening his mouth to say something, then changing his mind. He's clutching documents in his hand like a flotation device. He looks down at them, then back at you. I typically only use this particular product to highlight my cheek blades, but there's no real reason you shouldn't apply it more liberally, especially if cost isn't an issue. It's a little drastic for my personal style, but there is a certain unorthodox glamour to it. The next bit looks like it hurts him a bit to get out. Would you like to step outside to see the full effect? You bet your ass you would. You're curious about what he means by effect, and this seems like more fun than signing stuff. He places documents down on his desk like they're made of glass, not paper. He looks up at his Lucis, who just sort of tilts its head to the side. You look away and give them privacy to do whatever eyeball communication is going on. After a bit, Tagora clears his throat and heads toward the door. You don't comment on the bluish flush in his cheeks. For all the shift in his demeanor, he still seems like he might kick you out on your ass if you tried to get too feelingsy with him. You start to glow as soon as you step back out into his dark front yard. Not a light bulb kind of way, but a subtle ethereal luminescence. What is this stuff? Now that is a look. I mean, there's still the unfortunate issue of your hornless and overall abundance, and the fact that you're still wearing my absolution robe. Plus 150 absolution and robe rental fee. But it's cutting edge, I'll give you that. You look almost like a real one. You don't know what that means, but you want to roll around eternally in the praise part. You ask if the look will help your case. Your case. Of course. He bites his lip and looks back through the window at the paper sitting on the desk where he left them. You hope he still wants to represent you, or at least that he'd want to hang out even if he wasn't going to. You don't get a chance to prod though, because right then someone rounds the corner on the sidewalk in front of his eye. Tagora's face immediately shudders into its usual simpering mask. There's an edge of panic around his eye though. Huh. Wow, Gorchek, what have we here? It's a blue-themed troll, which, if you remember right, means he's a fancier guy than Tagora. He's grinning like Troll Christmas came early. You can feel Tagora vibrating out of his skin next to you. Who even is this guy? When he gets close enough to get a good look at you, he jumps and screeches. What the bulge boiling fuck? Tagora is frozen, the corners of his mouth pulled back to show his teeth. The new guy is ignoring him in favor, noticing that you're dressed in Tagora's monogrammed leisure wear. If his look of fascinated horror is anything to go by, you don't really know what makes you do it. You don't really know what makes you do it. You should wait for Tagora to get himself together and do the talking, but you're riding the high of him almost seeming like he was enjoying your company. Plus, nothing boosts confidence like looking like a beautiful spooky angel. So you toss your head, put on your best fancy guy voice and say, "What, never seen a real one before?" You're placing all your chips on this guy knowing something you don't. But when his eyes get huge and he starts stumbling over himself to back away down the sidewalk, you know it's paid off. Tagora blinks, then jumps right in, picking up directly where you left off. Surely someone as well informed as you knows a rainbow drinker when he sees one. The blue guy doesn't respond with anything more coherent than a string of yelps as he hightails it back the way he came. When he's gone, you turn to Tagora and ask him super casually what rainbow drinker is. He stares at you in stunned silence. Are you telling me you didn't know? You nod. And that you ran with it anyway, exploring the fear you picked up to turn the tide of delicate encounter to your favor? You shrug. You guess so. You tell Tagora you hope his friend wasn't too freaked out. Friend? No, I hate that guy. There are simple times when being liked by your betters is helpful. Though, technically, fearing me is just as good. Better, maybe. So, thank you. Tagora's laugh is soft. It's not a sound you expected to hear. He's happy because of something you did. You can't help it. You start laughing too. That was a bit of a rush, wasn't it? It was almost fun? I certainly didn't see it coming. Anyway, I underestimated you. He gives you an appraising look, then takes a deep breath. You're so nervous all of a sudden. You feel unbalanced on the precipice of what he might be about to say. From one prevaricator to another, I will let you in on something. I haven't actually encountered an alien before. Plus 250 surcharge for truth reveal. Oh, sweet relief. You tell him his act was airtight, and as long as everyone's doing the truth thing, he would admit you lied a bit too. You aren't actually rich. Yes, that's clear now. You have the invaluable ability to fake it, though. That's potentially much better. Why don't we put your case on hold for the time being? You wouldn't have enjoyed the outcome of our legal system anyway. 1,500 preemptive interest on held suit. On held suit? Yeah. We can find an alternate means of you working off your debt. I think we may make a better team than I previously anticipated. With our wits combined, we can tackle bigger and better things than traffic injuries. He flexes his hand at his side, then one swift and decisive moment, he extends it out to you. On his face is something close to an honest-to-God real-ass smile. I never actually formed a legitimate partnership of any sort before, but I believe this is how it's done. What do you say? 5% friendship discount. The glow in your heart shines brighter than any expensive and still kind of mysterious lotion. You take his hand in your firm, no-nonsense grasp of pure and inexorable joy and shake it. Friendship. Just sign here. Yay! Alright, now to do the other one of Volume 4. Yep. Vikare Ratite. It's probably best for you to stop trying to predict what's going to happen to you at this point. Everything that's happened so far in this planet has been kind of chaotic. In fact, you're ready for something more familiar. You head back to the side of your abandoned spaceship. Sure, it's smashed beyond repair, but it's a little slice of home. Maybe at least one or two pieces of it are fixable. You march off in what you think is the right direction. But when you get there, you're not alone. A little guy in a hat and big goggles is standing there, gazing at your spaceship. Maybe assessing it? As you watch, he breaks off a couple gears and stuffs them in his pocket. Hey! You clear your throat loudly. Good galloping gravy! Why, I've never seen the likes of you before! What strange wonders the heavens have rained down upon us today! You quickly lose any indignation you were building up. He's smiling at you. His words seem at least somewhat amicable. Maybe you got this all wrong. Maybe this is the next person you're going to get chubby with. You cut right to the chase. No point in being around the ground leaf covering. That's probably what they call it on this planet. You let this guy know you're the proprietor of the spaceship he's stripping, and you're in mighty need of a new friend. A friend, eh? A bosom companion? A pal about town? I've seen nary a Toman, Dickus, or Harry around these parts who might fit the bill. You were kind of trying to imply that this guy could be your friend. Is it too late to say that now? You try to imply with your eyebrows. As for me, day-to-day matters here on Alternia interest me not, for I only care about hurtling at great speeds through the boundless expanse of the cosmos! That's right, space! It is spaceflight that consumes my every waking thought and all my adore. As in accordance with my duty as a future Alternian crusader, of course. No oxygen, no wind, a total vacuum. That is life for me, alright. Flying in space, above the atmosphere, not within the realm of gravity's purview. Wouldn't have it any other way. Right. You get the feeling you're missing something. This guy seems really defensive about his interest in spaceflight. Like maybe he's trying to say something totally different? Whatever it is, his internal conflict clearly takes precedence over your issues. He seems like a great candidate for a friend, despite the fact that his voice sounds like it belongs to a newsreel about World War II. I have just one query for you, sport, if I may be so bold. Do you also like spaceflight? Do you yearn to see the moon shining above, the clouds whipping by as you chase and tease the impish western wind? And then also keep going past that up into space? Tell him you love spaceflight. Well then, we are in total agreement. Two kindred souls traveling hand in hand into a glorious yet inevitable future of constricted service in space, which is, as I've already made clear, a thing I most definitely and positively desire. So it seems we have nothing more to discuss. Toodaloo! Toodaloo. So that was not the right thing to do. Alrighty then. I know that now. Skip. Tell him you're not so sure about spaceflight. His eyes widen. You see them sparkle? Ah, I see. You're an individual with a more sophisticated palate. A real connoisseur of the buoyant arts you are. Someone like you could never be satisfied with the amnic affair of traveling through the inky blackness of the galaxies. I believe a jaunt to my hive is in order. Let's get a wiggle on. There was a lot going on there, but you understand that he wants you to follow him. The friendly guy takes you to a building where all the rooms seem to be balanced on spindly-looking stilts. The hive soars above you, up into the sky. He gestures to a little platform attached to a pulley system, like a rudimentary elevator. It brings you up into a small dark room. His house is pretty much what you would have guessed. The walls are covered in star maps and pictures of spaceships. You notice that many of them have cheery slogans splashed across them, saying things like, explore the galaxies, because you're required to fulfill your duties to society, and enlist, travel, make friends, don't get cold. And your new friend doesn't seem too happy as he looks around the place. Just the eye for a dedicated spacecraft enthusiast, isn't it? You nod. You're not sure what this is leading to, but no one ever went wrong with relying on non-specific and plausible deniable agreement. Who am I fooling? You've rumbled me, potential new chum. What you see before you is a collage of falsehoods. I'm nothing but an aviator of baloney. Aviator? Avatar of baloney. And in truth, the myriad temptations and desire of space do nothing to tickle my biscuit. The thought of participating in the glorious eternal conquest gives me the screaming mimes. Mimes? Mimes. My interest lies in something a little lower down. He reaches up and peels back one of the posters. Behind it is another poster, this one showing a view of clouds in the night sky. Behold my shame! The truth is, I long to toss and turn within the grasp of Mistress Gravity's sweet fingers. To traverse the sky! Can such a thing be? Imagine flying within the confines of Alternia's very atmosphere, defying the very conventions of what we all know to be true. Instead of down, up, instead of falling, soaring! Can you imagine? Can you see it before you? Could you ever dream of an existence of such a flying machine? Dumb, you've never heard of such a thing. Ah, but the future is ours to build, my strange-hued and unhorned comrade. What do you think? Does it excite you?
Do my ideas rattle your buttons?
You can't help but notice that he's referred to you as a chum and comrade, but friend hasn't made an appearance yet. Did you send him, Scout? Or is it just a tick of his speaking style? You look as earnest as you can and nod vigorously. You are almost positive that this is the thing he really wants you to express interest in.
Aha! The truth will out.
You and I share this furtive passion for the indulgences of the air. A dialogue between a troll, a flying machine, and the stars, but further away from the stars than we would be in a spaceship. I cannot stress enough how different of a thing this is. You can't decide between nodding and shaking your head here, so you furrow your brow and do your best to look thoughtful, like maybe you are contemplating the differences. This fellow's demeanor towards you is definitely shading to the more temperate climate zones. However, certain physical needs are starting to assert themselves. You're still pretty banged up from your previous adventures, but right now the aching of your stomach is screaming for attention. You humbly ask your friend to be if there might be any chance of getting a bite to eat.
But of course! Why, if I'd known you had a rumbling in the old digestion bladder, I would have shut my yapper toot sweet. Time for a good old nosh. A yummaroony! What ho! Now, how should we obtain the victuals? We could venture into the great unknown, which is to say, out of my hive. Or we could stay here, beholden to whatever twists and turns Lady Fate has in store for us in the nutrition block. What say you, new timer?
Go and look for food. From your budding chum's words, it sounds like he himself isn't sure if there's any food in the house. Best to risk it and go outside. You tell me your decision.
Top choice, buckaroo. Foraging is how I while away most of my time, after all. There's just one small matter to trouble the old brain power. If we're venturing out into the unknown yonder, we should obtain some chow for my Lucius as well. He'll be a real grumpy Gustav if he goes too long without his nosh.
You draw yourself up proudly. It's taken a lot of bizarre run-ins and harrowing close shaves, but you know all about Lucius's. You inquire about Gustav, was it?
Ho ho! What a card you are! No, my Lucius! I call him the Canary.
He whips out a photo. It's a smaller version of himself. His horns, nothing but stubs. A far too big pair of aviator goggles slipping off his nose. Standing behind him is a large white fowl, big scraggling wings folded back against its body. You want to say an emu? Whatever it is, it's definitely not a canary. Its beak touches the top of your pal's head with something that might count as affection. He's not a persnickety sort. All sorts of bugs and leaves will tickle his fancy. Shall we away? Shall we greet the horizon that rushes forward to meet us with astounding grace? Shall we give ourselves over to the current of time's great river? Sure, you tell him. You can leave the house. It's getting a lot easier to pay attention to only the words this guy says that actually make sense. You kind of enjoy his way of speaking, though. If nothing else, it gives you the feeling that he's really excited about this food quest you're going on together. Your alien pal leads you back down through the pulley system and outside again. The trip is not so easy on your bruised ribs. The thing about walking is, when you walk, your body moves. You've had better times, is all you're saying. You indicate as much to your companion.
Oh boy, I hear you. Moving while attached to a turning surface is the worst kind of hooey. The moment when autonomous flight is invented trembles ever closer to the present. Can you hear it approach? The wail of a distant klaxon. The call to adventure. It beckons us forward, through the years, a golden thread stretching ever onward to that glorious inevitability. That's not what you meant, but his excitement cheers you up a little. Maybe you'll feel better in the future, when someone invents flight on this planet. Certainly by that time, you'll either be further along in your healing, or dead. Either way, thinking about that future brings a little rosy glow to your heart. You ask your buddy where you're going next. The world is our our sea critter. We'll go wherever the wind calls our names. Great. But if it's a short-term answer you're inquiring after, there's a specific plant the canary likes to eat. It's got white petals and leaves as red as a troll's most lurid desires. Can you give a holler if your bulbs fall on something of that persuasion? You agree to keep an eye out. You continue trudging along beside him, wincing whenever your steps jolt your injuries. Maybe a little conversation will help distract you. You ask your new friend what got him so interested in flying in the first place. What could it be better? Up there, free of worldly concerns.
the wind in your face on the horizon on your back, seeing the continent spread out below you. Finally feeling that your personal aesthetic is appropriate for the given circumstances. You chew over this one for a minute or two. It seems like what really makes this guy tick is the travel and adventure thing. Or maybe that's just what you're getting from his general demeanor, and pretty much everything he's said up until now. You're nervous to bring up anything that might make him dislike you, but in the interest of bonding, you forge ahead. Aren't there, you say with apprehension, maybe some similarities between flying and space travel? Like maybe being in a spaceship could satisfy some of these urges. What? There may be some superficial similarities trick the common troll, but in essence, the blood pusher and soul of each, as different as night and day, as a mountain and a ditch, a star and a mud puddle. Don't get a fellow wrong, space travel is fine. Well, it's the only way to satisfy our bloodthirst and nearly immortal overlords, and I look forward to such a time where I can be of service, and the eternal millstone grind of intergalactic conquest. But it's missing the punch, the pizzazz, the kaboom, the trunk beast honk of it all. Just as you feared, you've stepped out in it now. You're struggling with a response when out of the corner of your eye you spot a cluster of white flowers. Relieved, you point them out to your companion, who races over to gather them. But when he holds one up, you can see it has blue leaves, not red. Your shoulders droop. Seems like all you're doing is disappointing your buddy, who has been so nice to you, or at least that's what you think you're. Jesus. At least that's what you think you're reading between the lines of his confusing speaking style. Fear not, my smooth-headed compatriot. These are not the loosest rations we sought, but this plant is people chow. What I mean to say is, we can heat it. Since we are people, it's food for people, not food made of people. To be clear. He comes back with a fistful of the flowers and hands you one of the blue leaves. You're not at all sure that food that's safe for your buddy will be safe for you as well, but at this point you don't have much to lose. Besides, with the way your stomach is groaning, it might as well be a perfectly seared steak you put in your mouth. Chewing on the leaf, you feel even more affectionate toward this guy than before. You were worried this trip was just turning into an excuse for him to run some kind of household errand, but he really did find you something to eat. You are desperate to find some way to show him that you understand his interests. You want to connect to him on a deep soul level. Anything to get him to look at you with that treasured glow of friendship in his eyes. Whenever he mentions space travel, he talks about how it's something he has to do, some kind of necessary obligation. So maybe there's a reason he's fixated on an activity that is similar, but just a little different. He's fixated on an activity. Maybe he doesn't want to do the required thing, the space conquest, but doesn't have it in him to rebel entirely all the way. Maybe airplane flight, or whatever similar thing he is envisioning, is a compromise between what he has to do and what he wants to do. A balance like all must find in order to live as an individual in a society that shapes one's desire from birth. You cautiously open your mouth, your heart pounding. You venture to ask your pal if he maybe would rather not satisfy the demands of the bloodthirsty overlords. If maybe a part of him wants to get into his flying machine and, leave, for real. He seems taken aback. Maybe you should never have said it. What a huge mistake! You've probably pushed his friendship out of your reach for good now. Panicking, you point to the side, yelling that you see a big field of white flowers in that direction. Your potential friend leaps to action, seemingly also glad to be given a reason not to answer this question. He races forward in the direction you indicated. In a matter of seconds, there's a yelp, and your new acquaintance vanishes. Instantly, you realize your error. You didn't look where you were pointing. While walking, you unwittingly came close to the edge of a large cliff, which your companion has now disappeared over. You race to your side, your stomach flooding with fear. This is absolutely opposite of what you want. You look down in horror. Your friend now looks approximately how you felt when you first crash-landed on this dark planet. He's conscious, his face frozen in shock, but one leg is twisted underneath him in a nasty way. You may not be familiar with his alien anatomy, but you're almost positive that isn't what it should look like. You call out to him in distress. Sure, he's going to cascade you for your mistake. The strangeness of his language won't make it hurt any less to lose this guy's trust forever. What ho! Kaloo Kalay! His voice floats up from the ground below, weak but somewhat jovial. It is possible he's not angry. Oh, joy is happening! Oh, delight for the body and spirit! Did you see? Did your being absorb what occurred before your very visage?
I flew, soared through the air, just for a moment, but it happened. An ecstasy like none I've ever known.
You hesitate. Is it really possible that he could be taking this? Is it really possible that he could be taking this so well? That maybe your big fuck up was a step in the right direction after all? It's definitely a little worrying to hear him celebrate a dangerous fall, but none of that matters if you can secure his friendship at last.
My strange associate, come on down here. We will celebrate in grand fashion this eve. How did you know that a brief sojourn through unfettered air would bring me such joy? You're a fine fellow, and a truly superb friend.
Your heart lifts with joy. He said it! Of course, you now have to find some way to climb down a cliff with your messed up ribs, not to mention figuring out how to transport someone with a broken leg back to the house. You're not really sure that's possible, or when the adrenaline that's got you so this far will give out and force you to succumb to your own pain. But with a night full of difficulties ahead of you, you couldn't ask for a better balm than knowing you'll face them hand in hand with your friend. Assuming you didn't hurt his hands as well. No matter, you did it! Victory! Yay! Alright, and that's it for Volume 4 of Hiveswap Friendsim. Yeah. Videos to come. I'll complete the rest of the volumes, and hopefully quickly go through Pester Quest. As of today of recording this, the 13th, the final volume of Friendsim 2 has come out, and I cannot wait to play that and record that for you guys. Now, if you liked the video, like it. If you want to see more content, make sure to subscribe and check out the other videos on the channel while you wait for the next upload. Have a good day and do you do best. See ya!